I can see you now on my red view. Woo. Touch one hand, me, man, I dare you. Woo. Leave no witnesses when I tear through. Woo. I got a few things in the EU. Woo. Young and old, anybody can get it. Anybody who listens to intercoms and attendance, get them gone, let them know this is more than a scrimmage. Something big coming, this ain't no regular business up.
The bike and the chassis feels pretty balanced. It's really cool, really agile, dynamic. And yes, I already can see that people are recognizing what we're doing and what we are cooking. The carbon swing arm. And I can already see dogmatic people coming with forks and maybe put us on a pole and burn us, maybe. But I'm really proud of the bike. Super good.
Shan number 5 was already a reliable product.
In general, the Black Shan Privee is a bike which is thought to have this Andorran feeling, this Andorran atmosphere in the bike, so it's an all-rounder.
Obviously, the bike is going to be better in some area, but you can still use it for plenty of adventure.
You cannot go so fast on a climb like with a cross-country bike, but you will be much faster on the downhill. And you cannot be as fast as a downhill bike in a downhill, but you can pedal up with your own legs. You don't need to go with a shuttle, with a lift. I think it's a very good bike for every day.
It was obvious that a product has a lifetime.
With the merge with Forestal, and it was the time to begin to think of redesigning the Shan number 5.
You need to go further, so you are looking for improvements, mass reduction, adjustment of the stiffness.
Geometry also changed. Now it's larger, it has more reach.
We managed to save around 700 to 800 grams on the frame.
The philosophy of PP was to have a unique bike on the past. Now, with this mix of materials, we are having an even more unique bike.
It's always challenging to make a product better while keeping all the good characteristics that the bike already had. As a brand, it's easy to fall into these kind of traps, and that's something for our brand that was not possible to accept. Shan number 5 was already a reliable product. Now we are stepping a bit further, but with something that we have not mentioned yet is that the overall frame is way more lighter.
Well, we save the weight by simplifying in some area the construction, optimizing what we call the vent holes, that kind of hole that you see there. Here in the BB, you see over there.
On the front triangle, we saved a few hundred of grams by using a new shock mount that is now welded. We are using a high-strength steel, and obviously the swing arm is where we made the big savings. Front triangle, using steel, we can achieve very good mechanical performance to weight ratio, but the rear swing arm, made of steel, was bringing some limitations regarding the weight and dynamics that we wanted to reach.
Obviously, steel swing arms is just some tubes welded, and with carbon you can do different shapes. You have more freedom.
We worked a lot on different layups, carbon distributions with different Toray fibers, different resins, just to reach that point of balance.
This is the actual design made out of steel. This one was working good, but it was weighing 1.6 kilograms. We had to make also some prototypes to check that everything fits correctly, the design is good. So yes, this one is the aluminum one. So fully made here at Forestal Group. And the final result is the carbon one. The design is quite light, fits well with a steel frame, Thanks to the resources we have, we've been able to make the appropriate calculations to design a good carbon swing arm. When you design a part with carbon, you are making the material at the same time as the product. You can tailor-made the characteristics of the swing arm.
We have the same stiffness, but more reactive. Of course, you will have this feeling of riding a steel bike, but having 800 less grams on the back, of course you will feel that the bike is even more playful.
Having a bike that is that simple also provides that feature that the customer doesn't need to be the most experienced mechanic ever. At the contrary, it's simple to put your hands at it and maintain your bike. And that's, for us, it's an excellent feature for that concept. We adjust geometries, brought some new features. The most simplest one, like the internal routing.
In general, for the internal routing, it's not hard to make the holes on the frame, but you need to know where.
You can easily induce extra stress, and you can have frames that cracks. So we had to go deep into the simulations and testing to find the appropriate locations for the internal routing. Even though it was simple, it required a bit of attention. One of the biggest bet we took is to produce the steel frames here. So it's already big leap.
The good part is we can control the whole process. We have 6-axis robot, we have the testing machines, stiffness testing in here, so we can play with tubes, with thicknesses, with materials, with different geometries, and reacting quite fast.
It's been like a bit more than a year that I've been working like on full-time on the new number 5, from industrialization to prototype to full mass production. At first we thought it was gonna be easy, like it's a front triangle to weld, so it's like 3-4 tubes to weld together. We thought it was gonna be like very easy, but with time we learned that it was not that easy, and we had to adjust every time all the processes. For example, for this front triangle, it's like almost 40 operations.
For the welding, you know, it's important to adjust filler, intensity, gas. All these parameters go together in a perfect welding on a strong welding. So you need to play with it, and depends also on the material you are using. Let's say the tubes, that the welding will behave different. Just changing intensity, for example, it can affect the strength of the material in good or in the bad way.
The old frame was welded by hand, so you didn't have at all the challenge of repeatability, and now it's all made with the welding robot, so we have to be very precise in the metering. So if the frame is not properly placed in the welding cell, it's not gonna weld well.
These last weeks we've been able to build stock because we are now moving way more faster with the production, and the frames, for example, are welded in 4 different phases, and we have almost the 3 phases like ensured to be fully automatic. So now we are working on the 4 phases while doing stock. It's like production refinement, but also we are preparing frames for the customer, so it's quite exciting. We master the process, we master the parameters of welding, so that's pretty good. We are quite confident, and it's, like I said, like it's super exciting. We are testing the frames in various configurations. The first one is the machine testing, and we push the frame within the boundaries of what the machines allow us to do, to the limit.
Here in Andorra, in forestal facilities, we are able to do impact testing for the frame sets, fatigue, pedaling, vertical, horizontal, rear triangle fatigue, covering all the ISO standards plus our own, and then also stiffness testing. The good thing of having these machines here in Forestal is we can save time on testing and compare it and react accordingly to modify, for example, the laminate if it's required, or say, okay, this is good, it's okay like it is, don't touch it, please. Stick to the original plan and follow it.
The second big task is in-field testing, because there are stuff that you cannot replicate on a testing machine. And in-field testing, it's time-consuming, but that's the best part of it. November 29. Today is a big day because it's a new milestone for us. After a full year of development, we have the few, like 90%, look alike the production bike. The plan is tomorrow to go to ride with Alex, like do a quick debugging session, make sure that everything fits right for him, like the suspension, do a bit of settings. We need pro riders to test the bikes. These guys are pushing the limits of the riding.
¿Estás bien? Bien, ¿y tú? ¡Fua! ¿Aquí está? Vaya pepino.
Nice.
Aquí con la Shan Number 5. No, la verdad que nunca había probado una bici de este tipo, que me ha sorprendido mucho porque todo y no tener un gran recorrido trasero, vamos a ver cómo se manejan estas suspensiones, hacer un pequeño ajuste y adaptarme a ellas sobre todo.
Although it's not a bike designed, so to speak, only to race, it's important to put the bike into this situation. You are not properly absorbing, you're not properly riding, and you put the bike into like weird conditions. We are in Girona, Gavares Gravity Race. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how the bikes behave. I have my own bike, so for me it's also the opportunity to compare my feedback to Alex. I am the more amateur one, but I've been riding these bikes for years, so I know exactly how they are supposed to behave.
Pues muy cerrado, ¿eh? Oh, bastante bien, tío, o sea, bien. La verdad que esta bici se adapta muy bien a estos trails. Creo que...
todo lo que es natural, ¿sabes? Así.
Sí. Y divertida porque muevo muy bien, ¿sabes? De delante es como que... Si fueran curvas un poco más de tipo 180, pero...
Cuesta más, sí.
Pero bien.
Lo único que bueno que, claro, el recorrido podría ser algo más, pero lo que es en estabilidad la bici bien. Se siente firme, en ningún momento voy descontrolado. Primeros días con ella.
También me fui en Andorra y había un montón de estas bicicletas finitas así.
Sí.
Lo escuché ahí.
As an engineer working in the cycling industry, I can tell that if I had to make a race bike, I would have made it differently. A race bike made 100% for that requires different characteristics. We met over there Nastasia Jimenez. This is Nastasia.
Hello.
Our French ambassador for many years.
Ah oui, là.
Yes. And they're constantly racing. And they love the bikes. They love the bike because it's always working.
Until now, all good. The bike is behaving pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the grip there is and the confidence it provides. Like usually, the man is the limit, not the bike. I'm looking forward to see what are the results for Alex.
La bici ha funcionado bastante bien, sabemos qué tiene de bueno, sabemos qué podemos mejorar, así que bastante contento. Hemos cumplido con la misión, que era probar la bici y ponerla al máximo.
I still find it like quite forgiving for the amount of travel that he has, and it's quite dynamic. And yes, it's for me it ticks all the boxes.
It begins to be really exciting because we've been through machine testing, in-field testing, and since now a few months we are producing the new Shan number 5 frames. Plenty of number 5 are being done at the moment. I'm really proud of the team. We did incredible work. Without the team we are nobody. Like you cannot do what we are doing right here. I mean, I'm talking about both brands, like PP and Forestal. Without the team, it's a huge team effort. I believe in the fact that PP can provide a different answer for our customers because we are thinking in a different way than the big players out there. We don't have fancy name for our suspension system. It's a single pivot design, like and it's a mountain bike. And in the end, that's what it is. You want to ride your bike, and that's what we want to provide to people.
PP Shan number 5, made in Andorra. It's the bike for everyone. It has the ability to ride harder and faster, but it's not for everyone, for every customer.
I would be like way over confident to say that I'm sure people is going to love it. However, what I'm confident is in the bike. Steel is real, so yes, now it's half steel, but I believe it's still real.